19 years ago today, CSX 8888 went on its wild journey from Walbridge, Ohio to Kenton, Ohio. This is the story on CSX Crazy 8s. On May 15, 2001, CSX yard crew Y116-15 were instructed to pull 47 cars out of track K12 and move them to departure track D10. Y116-15's power was CSX 8888, an EMD SD40-2 built for Conrail in September 1977. The assignment of switching 47 cars from K12 to D10 was actually the second yard job that Y116-15 had that day. The first assignment that Y116-15 had was just normal switching routines through the yard. At 11:30 a.m., Y116-15 completed its first yard assignment. After this, the train master at Stanley Yard then gave them the assignment to hook up the 47 cars. So, as instructed and planned, CSX Y116-15 heads south on track K12 to couple up to the 47 cars. CSX 8888 short hood was facing north. After coupling up to the 47 cars, the brakeman notifies the engineer to pull north from K12. After the 47th car passed the brakeman, he proceeds west so he can align the switch to track D10. As this is happening, the conductor is notifying the engineer by radio how many cars have passed them, and the engineer acknowledged. With 8 cars remaining, the conductor tells the engineer when to stop. The engineer does not reply. The conductor repeated himself. Still no reply. The conductor then tells the engineer to stop the train, but the train continues. The reason why the engineer did not reply to the conductor was because the conductor had informed him earlier that PB9 was reversed. The engineer decided that he would align the switch to normal since he was the closest crew member nearby. Before getting off of the Crazy 8s, he set the locomotive's independent brake and had the throttle at notch 8. The engineer got off of the Crazy 8s, went to align PB9 to normal. The engineer did, however, the locomotive was now picking up speed from 8 miles an hour to 12 miles an hour. The engineer chased after the Crazy 8s, however, due to rain coming in, he slipped and fell and was dragged about 80 feet before having to let go. The engineer then immediately told another CSX employee what just happened. The employee then notified the yard master, who then told the train master. The Toledo branch dispatcher was also notified about the runaway train. The brakeman and conductor did not know what happened to the engineer, so the brakeman and another CSX employee got into a personal vehicle and pursued Y116-15 to a crossing where they were attempting to board the train. However, they were unsuccessful. The Ohio State Police was then notified about the runaway train at 12:38 p.m. At Galatea Siding, a derail was set in an attempt to derail the train. Because of the speed the Crazy 8s was going, the derail was thrown to the side of the tracks, and the Crazy 8s continued on south. Then the Ohio State Police had an idea: shoot to kill. They were going to use a buckshot rifle to shut off the fuel safety shutoff switch. Unfortunately, the plan fails, and the Crazy 8s continues on south. Meanwhile, northbound manifest Q636-15 was told by the dispatcher to go into the siding at Dunkirk, Ohio, uncouple their consist, and chase after CSX Crazy 8s once it passed them. Sure enough, at 2:05 p.m., the Crazy 8s passed Q636-15, and Dunkirk. As the 47th car on Y116-15 passed Q636-15, the dispatcher aligned the switch for the 8392, and after that, the 8392 was in pursuit of the Crazy Eights, on hood forward. At Kenton, Ohio, the 8392 caught up to the Crazy Eights at 51 miles an hour. The engineer then applied the dynamic brake so the train wouldn't split apart. Shortly after that, the train reduced speed to 11 miles an hour. At the Route 31 crossing, south of Kenton, Ohio, John Hosfeld, the CSX trainmaster, was able to board the Crazy Eights, get into the cab, and shut down the locomotive. Soon after that, the Crazy Eights came to a halt. The Crazy Eights had covered 66 miles in just under 2 hours. Shortly after, an FRA motive power and equipment inspector arrived at the Route 31 crossing where the Crazy Eights was. He found that all the systems on the engine were working, such as the headlights, the bell, the horn, ditch lights, sanders. However, the only thing that was messed up was at the brake shoes, as they were completely worn off. As for the engineer being hired by the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1966, then being promoted to engineer by Penn Central in 1974, and with a clean record, was fired from CSX. CSX Q636 still runs today as a daily manifest from Columbus, Ohio to Walbridge, Ohio. Y116, however, has been abolished. CSX 8392 was still used up until 2012, when it was sold to a national railway equipment company in Illinois. As for the Crazy Eights, it too was still in service and used by CSX. In fact, many museums tried to preserve the engine because of its famous incident. However, CSX denied all the requests. But in 2015, it was rebuilt into a CSX SD40-3 and renumbered the CSX 4389, still holding one of the 4 eights. It has been 19 years now since the Crazy Eight's famous incident, and there is no way that it will never be forgotten.